group of young people on a camping trip in the woods fall foul of a deranged family of inbreds, apparently. Shot in 2000 by convicted tax frauder Richard Driscoll and otherwise known as Evil Calls the Raven, but did not secure a release for 8 years, The Legend of Harrow Woods is a batshit insane and inane ghost film that is grainy as fuck and incomprehensible as a film starring Norman Windsor, Rick Mile and Christopher Walken can only be. Knowing now that this is essentially a 90s film answers a whole lot of questions. Now I see it as a cash-in, or parody even, of Blair Witch, which is 46% sepia flashback, and the rest is just a woodland slasher that never has any payoff, which falls in line with Richard Driscoll considering his criminal record. Again, knowledge is power, and since I know the insane stories surrounding its director, it gives the film an appeal which wasn't there when I was watching it. Makes me want to revisit it even. However, I probably know I'm only going to get the same thing. A flatly acted, structure-impoverished supernatural horror that is dark and underlit. Huge swathes of the film are near unwatchable, literally. There is nudity, some charming plagiarism of The Shining in certain places, but overall, the product is poorly lit, barely written, and terribly acted. Minus some quirky cameos, it's simply too boring to retain any entertainment value. A family moves in to look after the Winchester mansion for a few months and soon find themselves terrorized by vengeful spirits. With the help of a paranormal investigator, they'll unravel the mystery of the house. Business as usual for the asylum in this poorly lit, poorly acted ripoff of A Haunting in Connecticut. 2/3 of this film, I'm pretty damn certain, was shot behind either a green screen or a matte painting. They lack depth, as does the story and the general presentation. The worst kind of film to review, in my opinion, is a mediocre cash-in. There are no easy angles for a reviewer. What I am saying is that a film that displays little creativity and that I can see barely half of, I've got nothing. I've got nothing here. Maybe shooting it for 3D complicated things, but still, fucking hell, I have no material here. Apart from a few supporting artists in dime store rags and cobwebs, all that Winchester House has going for it is an inkling of violence and a level of semi-professional lethargy that can only be the mark of asylum quality. Utter crap. Next. A sheriff relocates to Salem, Massachusetts with his family, only to discover that the house they've moved into is plagued by an ancient curse and haunted by malicious spirits. There is more rattling around in A Haunting in Salem than other supernatural rip-offs the Asylum have produced, such as the protagonist's battle with PTSD and all that drama, but this film is still a lazy cash-in that is executed in the safest, laziest, most Asylum way possible. Lighting is better than most Asylum pictures, but that's more due to chance than anything else. And the film does a good enough job of sustaining suspense, I guess, but the slow burn is instead merely a flicker, and the acting is simply subpar, even bordering upon cringe in some areas. Not the actor's fault, the script is just that shit, and gives nothing for them to do. Don't even bother with the old school 3D. The action is desperately dull, and there's little to nothing going on in this film to warrant it. I repeat, this film was not made with 3D in mind. A Haunting in Salem is another nothing Asylum ripoff that is a double bill of bland along with their effort of A Haunting in Winchester House they did 3 years ago. Obviously, lessons weren't learnt, and the tedium continues to haunt those of us who still aspire for the output of this notorious studio to reach the heights of direct-to-DVD psychotronia, but very rarely do so. Right, let's get this over with. Legend of Harrow Woods is horror film gumbo with a stew of influences, all undercooked and coated in fat. Haunting of Winchester is a bland as fuck supernatural asylum film, and A Haunting in Salem is another bland as fuck supernatural asylum film. I'd have a ghost pun for you, but these films could not put in the fucking effort, so neither am I. Ta-ta, farewell.